Hi, I'm Joe Stump with Alcaviva, and today we were going to shoot a quick little video to help you install your new Delphi H2 series ionizer. So here, let me show you around your ionizer. We pre-unpacked everything here for you to make it easy to show and not waste too much of your time. This is the super stylish new faucet that functions beautifully. Everything you need to control your ionizers here, unlike mechanical faucets where you have to get under the cabinet with every single time you want to make a change. We can now have full control over it and the fantastic H2 results that we get at the touchscreen above your counter. This is the base unit. This is what really does most of the work here, and we've pre-installed all of the necessary fittings to make it easy. We have a 5/16 elbow on the top. This is going to run up to the faucet and takes the bigger tube. Underneath, we have a 1/4 inch tap water inlet. This will be the white tube that comes from your cold water supply, and a 1/4 inch fitting for the acidic water that will go up to the faucet. To keep it easy, we've made this tube red, so they're easily identifiable during installation. We also, of course, have the 3 tubes that we'll be using. The bigger one that goes from the top of the ionizer to the faucet. The smaller white one that will go from the cold water supply to the water inlet on the bottom of your ionizer. And the easily identifiable red tube that will go from the acidic outlet on the bottom up to your faucet. We also have several accessories, like the angle stop adapter we're going to show you how to install to get water delivered to your ionizer. The mounting hardware to actually get the faucet attached to your countertop. We have a hose fixing guide. This is a pretty neat little thing. It's just a way to keep the tubes nice and clean and organized. You run them right through these slots and fits right to the wall. A bag of various knickknacks, accessories, fuses, safety clips, and the other things that will help. And an optional inline sediment filter that we'll show you how to install later. So the first step to installing the Delphi H2 is to get the faucet installed in your countertop. Now under our cabinets we're a little dark and a little messy, so we mocked this up for you here today. A lot of faucets will have a pre-existing hole, like for a spray dispenser or soap dispenser, those kind of things. If you have to make a hole, make sure that there's plenty of room for both arms to reach the sink and it's not in the way of the standard faucet. It's going to function right. And we would always recommend that you use a professional licensed contractor to come out and do this. We wouldn't want to mess up any countertops or make any mistakes. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to connect the 1/4 inch red tubing, the smaller one, to the 1/4 inch coupling. This is going to be our acidic water line. These fittings just push together. You can give them a little tug to make sure they're in seating, and that's it. Now we're going to use the larger of the 2 white tubes. They're different size tubing, different size fittings. We can't get them backwards. So we're going to do the same thing there. Push to connect, give it a little tug, fits no problem. First thing we got to do is get this rubber washer put onto the threaded end of the faucet. In the close-up picture here on the side, you'll see that there's a couple of little rubber nipples on one end. Those need to face towards the faucet and will fit into some holes. So to get these there, we're going to take the faucet data cable and both of those lines we just installed. And we're going to put those through the gasket. We're going to run this up, slide it over the fittings, and all the way on to the base of the faucet. Same thing again. but we're going to take all 3 cable and tubings and we're going to feed them through the hole. Now, I slide the base into position and we're ready to attach the fixing nut to the bottom. It's this guy right here, same thing, thread over, all 3, and then it simply hand tightens onto the faucets. Make sure that we're facing a good way that we can access the digital display and the touch panel. And we're going to thread this guy into place. And we are ready for the next step. But before we go there, I want to let you know that it is very important that we follow these steps. We need to go in a specific order. We do not want to plug this data cable in too early or it will affect the programming we're going to cover a little bit later on. Using the inline sediment filter, because it does use 2 quick connect fittings, I thought we'd show you exactly how these work. Again, the line goes in, give it a little tug to make sure it's secure, and that's it. Now, if you ever need to release it, press and hold that collet ring located as close as possible to the tubing. When you hold that in, you can slide the tube right out. So that's really all there is to putting them in and taking them out. In addition, we've provided several safety clips. These are used to go in between the main body of a quick connect fitting and the collet to prevent any accidental slippage. They simply clip into place like that. The next step in installation is going to be installing the angle stop adapter to the cold water line. It's going to look like this, or similar to. We do change these once in a while depending on where they're coming from. And it's going to have an adapter. This will make it fit either standard 1/2 inch or 3/8, and either way to do. So the first thing we're going to do is under the cabinet, we're going to find the cold water line. You can tell this by turning the sink on and off and figuring out which one is which. Pretty easy to do. We're going to shut the water off, just like this, and then disconnect this line. You might need a crescent wrench or something like that. Ultimately, we'll just unthread, and if this were a real sink, we'd want to put a little bucket or something under there in case there's any residual water. So we're going to use the adapters here to make it fit in between these 2. We're going to do it just like this. Now the whole thing will simply thread on there. And they're self-sealing, but if you do notice a little leak when you turn this back on, you could always use a little Teflon tape or plumber's putty. You can get that at about any hardware store. And then reconnect the water line. Tighten that back down. Again, you might want to use a little wrench. Now, we want to make sure that this is off, and to show you how it's off, there's a little handle and a lever. When this is in line with the body of the angle stop adapter, that is off to this accessory line. Turned, pointing towards it, that is on. We want this in the off position, but this will still allow water to flow through the cold water line. The next step is to install the white 1/4 inch tubing that will go to the water inlet on your ionizer, at the base of your ionizer. This plugs in here. Again, it's a quick connect fitting. We simply push it in, give it a little tug to make sure it's in there, and we're done until the next step. The first thing that we're going to do is install the bigger white tubing, 5/16 alkaline line, from the faucet to the 90-degree elbow on the top spout adapter here. The same quick connect fitting, the same way. Push it in, give it a tug, done. If for any reason you ever needed to disconnect this or any other quick connect fitting while we're here, there's a small ring at the top here called a collet. If you press and hold that in, it'll pull straight out, just like that. However, if you try to pull it without holding that ring in, it won't go anywhere. So if you ever need to, hold the base at the tube, pull out, installation, and that's why they're called quick connects. Next, we're going to go to the bottom of the ionizer. We want to install the acidic line first. We've color coded these red because it is important that we don't get these backwards. The acidic line will go here as indicated by the stickers on the bottom. Again, it's a quick connect. It'll usually have a little plug in there. We need to remove that first. Simply push and pull. Done. The next tubing that we're going to have to connect is the tap water inlet. This comes from the angle stop adapter that we just installed in the previous step. So this one comes from the cold water line and will go here to the central part of the ionizer, labeled water input. Again, quick connect fitting, in, tug, secure. Now stand the ionizer back up. We can now plug in the data cable. First, we're going to need to remove this protective cover. A Phillips screwdriver will remove both screws. With the screws taken out, the cover will slide right off. Inside, there's a simple wire clip type connector. It can only go one way and is very simple to do. It just plugs in, you'll feel it a little click, and that's it. It's a good time to go ahead and put the protective cover back on. To do that, it will only fit one way, and we just put the screws back in to hold it in place. This protects the wire from any damage or rubbing, especially if we're mounting it on the wall, and keeps everything nice and tidy under our cabinets. There you go. So now we plug the unit back in and we need to turn the water back on. Go back to the angle stop that we shut off, turn the cold water supply back on, and check for leaks. Once we're sure that we've got it plenty tight and there's no leaks, then we're going to turn our adapter on by turning that lever so it faces the 1/4 inch tubing that we installed there. Now that that's ready, the system is now controlled by the Delphi faucet. The buttons on the base will be inactive. However,
alkaline level 1
the buttons on the
selected.
faucet now tell the base unit what to do. We're ready to start drinking our good water. Your Delphi H2 series ionizer is really easy to operate. It's controlled by the 4 buttons here on the touch screen at the top of the faucet. You have the power button,
Alkaline
which turns
level
the
4
unit on,
selected.
and you have an alkaline button that will
Alkaline level 2 selected.
the alkaline button will go through the different levels, going up every time you press it until you get to 5, and it will go back to 1.
Alkaline
A purified
filtered
button
water
and an
selected.
acidic button. That is really all there is to it. It's also important to note that whatever setting you've selected, whether it's an alkaline or an acidic water, the selected water is going to come out of the longer spout located on the top of the faucet. So if you've selected an alkaline water, it will come out of the longer spout, and its counterpart, the acidic water, will come out of the shorter. Now, if we were to go to an acidic setting, we will be getting that from the longer spout and an alkaline from the shorter. However, at the purified setting, water will come from both spouts and is the same water, just highly filtered and still great to drink. The Delphi H2 series ionizer comes with a feature where we can fine-tune the power settings for each individual level of alkalinity and acidity to get the best performance for our unique source waters. To do this, we're going to turn the unit on.
Alkaline level 1
And it's going to
selected.
tell you the level we've selected. For this example, let's use alkaline level 5, and we're going to go to a power setting of 2. We're going to
Alkaline.
cycle through,
Alkaline.
and we
Alkaline.
need to stop and
Alkaline
hold
level 5 select.
on the setting we'd like to do. If we go past it, just cycle through, but we always need to stop and hold on the setting. You'll see here the numbers 5 and 2. Level 5 is saying that it's alkaline. The first digit is saying the level. The second number is the power level that we've selected. Now if we press alkaline again, you'll see the second digit changing. It's levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 being the weakest, 4 being the strongest. We set it to 5.2, hit the PU button to save, and that number is now saved to the memory, and alkaline level 5 is now a power setting 2. This can be done with every alkaline and acidic level
Alkaline level 2.
throughout the whole thing.
Alkaline
Every
level
level
4
must be
selected.
set individually. One of the great things about our Delphi H2 series ionizer is the quality filters that are inside of it. And smartly, the Delphi will always let you know when it's time to change them. You'll see the display here light up and it will say 999, indicating it's time to change a filter, and an indicator of either filter 1 or 2, letting you know which one needs to be changed. Changing the smart filters is easy. There's a button in the middle on the side of each filter door compartment. They slide up and can be placed aside. You'll see here at the top a small wire harness. This is part of the smart filter technology and allows the computer to keep track of how much water we've used and the useful life left inside of our filters. When they expire, to simply change them, we unplug this, twist the filter about a quarter turn, and lift up and out. We can now get rid of the old filter. To put a new one in, make sure that the label is going to be facing somewhere near the front. It goes in, we twist and lock, and we reconnect the new wire harness. When we reconnect the wire harness, it will automatically reset the filter counter. Remember, these are smart filters. To replace this, simply goes on the side, slides down into place, and we're done. We can do the same thing on the other side. That's all there is to smart filters. The Delphi H2 series ionizer also comes with an optional small inline sediment filter. Installing these is really easy. There's just a small arrow we need to pay attention because it is directional. We need that to go in the same direction that the water is coming from the cold water and to the ionizer at the tap water inlet. On the quarter-inch line that we have running from the cold water connection to the tap water inlet, simply make a cut so that we have 2 pieces of tubing. Then, like the quick connects, we push and pull, push and pull. It's now ready to be installed to the tap water inlet on our ionizer. If you choose to use the optional inline sediment, it's a good idea to periodically clean it out. To do that, simply disconnect it from the tubing, locate the arrow, and run water in the opposite direction through it to rinse it out. This will keep it from clogging up and slowing down the flow of your ionizer.